CMA is 10492 of 2023.
The way we had decided on the last date of hearing full court meeting, one was a pilot project, which was the Supreme Court Practice and Procedure Act of 2023 we considered, and the full court decided that that would be the first. That was done courtesy of Pakistan Television. Thereafter, the committee was constituted by Justice Muhammad Ali Mazhar Sahab and Justice Athar Minillah. And whether we can do it ourselves, we didn't want to be dependent on an outward network. And with their, I must acknowledge their effort, and they've made it possible, and also recommended that maybe people may be interested to hear. It's a presidential reference after all. So we are already telecasting it, and I think the public notice has been put outside with the link. There are two links. You can go direct. You can go through the Supreme Court website, or you can go YouTube. The link is there. So your application, before your application was filed, this decision was taken.
Thanks a lot, my lord.
You can see this is live. This is the LCD. This is live telecast.
Okay.
Yes, this is live streaming.
Thank you, my lord. Thank you, my lord.
No, you don't need to thank us.
Because this is a case of historical importance.
No. That's one thing we don't want to do. First of all, we want to treat it as a presidential reference. Can you take, I don't know, whether you will start or we'll request the Attorney General.
Attorney General will start because the reference is by the President.
Yes. So first question that arises is, I mean, presidential reference is still here before us. It was not withdrawn. So I presume presidential reference you still want to pursue.
My lord, I have no contrary instructions, so yes.
So he wants to continue the presidential reference. So can we read the presidential reference?
So before we proceed, I will request your lordship to read an order.
Before we read, let's start.
An order has been passed for summing of certain record. An order was passed by this honorable court while hearing the presidential reference. When my lord, Mr. Justice Chaudhary was the Chief Justice, an order was passed that certain record is not over here. And those documents are very important for the purpose of deciding this presidential reference. If your lordship would allow me, I'll read that order which was passed.
We will certainly allow you, but at the appropriate time. Let's start with, because none of us were judges when the presidential reference was filed, nor any of us had heard the presidential reference at any stage, nor there is any judge in the Supreme Court who's heard it. So you may even wonder on the constitution of this bench. It was placed before the committee as, let's not keep speculating on everything. This Chief Justice has relinquished powers, and now matters are decided by the committee. Just 2 seconds, just bear with us. What we did was, one senior member did not want to be part of the bench. Two others was some way or the other related. It was felt maybe they should not be. So just want to allay that. And since the last time it was heard was 9 members, so we tried to do the same, because sparing a lot of judges also takes time. So now if we will start with the presidential reference, and then we will go through all relevant orders. So Attorney General, can we request you to read, since it's your presidential reference, if you can read the presidential reference?
Sir, I'd just like to point out.
We will go, don't worry.
I just want to point, a tribunal was formed, headed by Justice Shafiur Rahman. And
Farooq Sahab. Don't mind, but let him start. Okay. So actually, to be honest, I've not read it.
Okay. Thank you.
So let's read it. My lord, this reference comprises of 15 pages.
So, not the facts. What does the President of Pakistan want us to do?
My lord, if my lords may kindly turn to order dated 21st of April 2011.
So
that order records the questions which were referred.
So before that, in the presidential reference, it is under which article of the Constitution?
186.
So can you read 186? We do one thing at a time. It's reproduced, I think, in the first page of the presidential reference.
Clause Clause 1, if at any time the President considers that it is desirable to obtain the opinion of the Supreme Court on any question of law which he considers of public importance, he may refer the question to the Supreme Court for consideration. 2. The Supreme Court shall consider a question so referred and report its opinion on the question to the President.
Okay. Now, this is an extraordinary power vesting in the President. And which President had filed this reference?
Sir, President Asif Ali Zardari,
Okay.
on the advice of the federal government, the cabinet.
And what was his tenure in office till?
I believe it was 2008 through 2013.
And after that, how many presidents have come?
2, my lord.
And no one,
presidents.
none withdrew it.
None of them.
So it's still on our docket.
That's right, man. It's presidential reference number 1 of 2011.
I must regret on behalf of the Supreme Court that it was not listed earlier, because we have a policy now of first in, first out, unless there is some urgency in a particular case. Okay, so would you like to refer to the presidential reference or the order now?
My lord, I'd like to refer to the order because that order then captures the questions.
Okay, which order is that?
It's 21st April 2011, 21/4/2011.
21 April.
Isn't there a question in the reference itself?
My lord, the questions were in the reference also, but
Why don't we go to the question of law that was, Mr. Attorney General?
my lord.
Could you just refer to the question of law raised in the original reference?
My lord. My lords, if my lord may kindly turn to page 16 of the reference.
No, it finishes at 15.
There is no question.
It finishes at 15. 16 is a
My lord,
summary
these were
for the Prime
placed-
Minister.
These were placed. These were placed subsequently. There was an order dated 13, 14, and 18 of. There were orders, several orders of 13, 14, and 18 April 2021,
Why don't
2011,
go to
and on
Mr. Attorney
21/4.
Why you read the reference?
If I can
Read the title of the reference,
Page
that
three.
itself sums up the question, but
Question number 1.
after a reference ka title पढ़े.
reference by the President of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan under Article 186 of the Constitution of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan to revisit the case of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, reported as PLD 1979, Supreme Court
Original file कहाँ है?
53,
Have
38.
you filed separately some questions? Because in the reference, the questions are not reflecting in any heading.
My lord, if your lordship will
My lord.
allow me, it's a reported matter.
No,
The order of this honorable court where the questions were framed.
That was
Like
the
a
questions
re-granting
framed by
order.
the court.
Yes, my lord,
We
but
are
the court.
asking what about the questions which you framed in your reference for the opinion of this court?
That is in the reference.
My lord,
But this honorable court also framed the
Those
questions.
questions which were framed in the
This honorable court also framed the question, and it is a reported
Well, I
matter.
think, Mr. Attorney General, why don't we just read the entire reference?
my lord.
And if there are sort of irrelevant or just factual things, we'll skip those.
Well, what happened was that after the
Let's now.
the reference was filed, the questions were subsequently forwarded. I'll skip the language of Article 186 from page 1 and then I'll read. After the restoration of judiciary by the present democratic government, all the institutions of the state are adhering to the constitution and constitutional scheme of trichotomy of power. The judiciary in Pakistan is independent and is playing a proactive role in the cases of public importance. However, some important questions of law remain unanswered, and one amongst them is in waiting since long. This is the case of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, reported as PLD 1979, Supreme Court, page 38, decided in Criminal Appeals number 11, 12, and 13 of 1978, who is the founder of the Constitution of Pakistan, first elected Prime Minister of the country, leader of the Third World, Prime Minister of Non-Aligned Movement, founder of the Islamic Bloc, who took the initiative of introducing nuclear technology in the Muslim world. He was convener of the first Islamic Summit in Pakistan, which attracted unparalleled participation of leaders of the Muslim Ummah. Facts. In pursuance of wide-range conspiracy, Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto was challened by the Federal Investigation Agency maliciously to face trial for offences under Section 120B, 302, read with Section 109, and 301, and Section 307, read with Section 109 PPC. The trial was conducted by the Lahore High Court in a highly objectionable manner, and he was judicially murdered. I, as the President of the Islamic Republic of Pakistan, in order to uphold the dignity of the court, supremacy of the Constitution and law, feel constrained to refer a few questions of law which are of paramount public importance and remain yet to be finally determined and answered by the Supreme Court of Pakistan. 1. The law of approver and criminal conspiracies admittedly against the injunctions of Islam, the Holy Prophet, peace be upon him, on the occasion of Hijjatul Wada, pronounced, "Beware, every culprit is responsible for offense committed by him. Beware, the father is not responsible for the offense committed by his son, nor son is answerable for the offense committed by his father." Admittedly, absence of the accused from the scene of occurrence could not at all constitute personal liability. 2. Earlier, no accused had been convicted and sentenced to death solely on the testimony of an approver. The Honorable Supreme Court of Pakistan has again disapproved the testimony of an approver in the case of Mia Muhammad Nawaz Sharif versus State, PLD 2009, Supreme Court 814, and the law continues to be volatile. The testimony of the approver fails to satisfy both the tests in that he is neither reliable nor his testimony is corroborated in material particulars. 3. Intricate questions of public importance are involved in the matter. None is above accountability in Islam, and more so a qazi. Determination of the question of accountability, or at least a correction of error, amounts to introspective accountability. The democratic system of a country is dependent on the functioning of political parties. Leaders of political parties are repository of public trust and confidence. Their iconic image is an inspirational and motivational force for the followers. In the case of Shaheed Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, this goes without saying that he was the leader who inspired generations. His charismatic leadership remains a role model for the toiling millions of Pakistan and the third world, and his appeal for downtrodden is transcending through annals of history. His totally illegal death sentence and his execution at the hand of tyrant dictators with the help of hand-picked judges is a black spot on the democratic face of Pakistan. 4. Whether the Supreme Court was acting within four corners of law while deciding the appeal by a bench, which was not duly constituted after the absence of two honorable members, namely Mr. Justice Wahiduddin Ahmed, who was shown sick, and the bench chose to proceed in his absence, notwithstanding the fact that he was desirous to join the proceedings, and Mr. Justice Kaisar Khan retired during proceedings. The Honorable Court was legally and morally duty-bound to fill the vacancies. 5. In the case in hand, bias in the minds of judges was floating on the face of the record. A bias in the mind of judge results in vitiation of the proceedings. In the celebrated judgment reported as Asif Ali Zardari and another versus the state, PLD 2001, Supreme Court 568, while dilating upon bias, the Honorable Apex Court held as follows, as under C. A judge may have a personal bias towards a party owing to relationship and the like, or he may be